and its usage. What is narrow casting? Very, very important concept. And wide casting. These two will be coming together. Narrow casting and wide casting. It's a very important concept to understand. I will be seeing its usage in real time also. And in real time example, generally we use this narrow casting and wide casting in our factory design pattern. And also in WebDin Pro, it is used a lot. Or in many other places, you will be able to see that the narrow casting and wide casting will be combinedly getting used together. Whenever the wide casting will comes into picture, narrow casting must be there. Okay, wide casting and narrow casting comes together. At least for at least for wide casting, you must to have the narrow casting to be performed. And I got one very good reference for real-time example for WebDin Pro on the Sankara YouTube channel. I have put the link over there. You can start watching from 12 minutes onward. Only 25 minutes long video is there. You can just go and have a look over there. Fine. So with this, let's go and start for the cleanup block. Before going ahead, let's have a quick look at what we have done in our last class. In last class, we have seen how we can create the custom exception. There we have seen there are two ways of creating the custom exception. One is the OTR based custom exception, and other it was the based upon the uh, class, based upon the message class, right? So I would have put somewhere, yeah, here, right? OTR based and message class based. And whenever you create any custom exception, we start the naming convention either starting with JCX underscore or YCX underscore. We also saw what's the difference between raise keyword, raise exception type, and raising keyword, right? So raise to just to raise the non-class based exception, raise exception type to raise the class based exception, and raising keyword we use in the method signature, right? And this signature has to be taken care based upon the how your exception has been inheriting from which particular, you know, uh, exception class, right? So if it is cx underscore static check, then you must have to mention, means you, it will give you the warning, right? If you don't mention inside the signature of the method, if inside the method, if you are raising the, if you are raising the exception, right, then it will ask you that please put the, it will give you the warning, right? In the cx underscore dynamic check, it will not give you any kind of warning, but at runtime it will give you dump, right? Here there is no check at all, right? So with this, let's go here and we will see the cleanup block. What is the cleanup block? So cleanup block we use generally with try and catch only. Try and catch block we use. So inside the try and catch, just you have to remove the catch and you have to put the cleanup block. So it is going to be used inside try and end try. So similar to the try and catch block, you have to use try and cleanup block. But one thing here, what we have to remember that it will be working like this. There should be certainly one try and catch block and then end try. There will be one wrapper. There will be one wrapper of try and catch. Inside this, you can use the try and clean up. Try and clean up and end try. So like that it will work, So try, then you will be having the cleanup block, and then you will be having the end try. But before this, you will be having try, again catch, and end try. So if you give directly this try and end try, this might not work. Okay, we will see this one. You have to give this also. This wrapper also you'll have to give it. This is mandatory. Okay. What is the use of this cleanup block? So as its name suggests, whenever you are coming out from the session, it's better to clear all the. So generally what happens when you are throwing the exception, system does not clear everything because it's a unwanted, dump, unwanted stuff. So system just gets confused and not able to think that what it has to clean up and what it does not have to clean up. But you know that we create lot of objects, and whenever we create the objects, it acquire memory, right? And also there are some certain events, like if you consider about the BDC. In BDC, what we do, we are having the open group, insert, and the close group. So while we close, for the BDC session method I'm talking about, okay? So in the close group, what we do, we call a function module of the close group, and there that close group function group takes care of clearing all the memory and everything, right? If you talk about the simple object oriented scenario also, right, you create lot of objects and those lot of objects basically takes lot of memory, right? And those memory need to be cleared. So those objects you can write over here, free, and that, let's suppose you have created object 1, object 2. So whenever you are doing any development in the real time and you create lot of objects, make sure that in if some exception, if there is some chances of having the exception, make sure that put into the try and end try block, and under the cleanup you can write the free statement so that it will free up the stuff. Let's go and see into the system. Okay, so slash n AC24, or maybe we can create the local class directly, slash n AC38, and z demo exception. Yesterday we have created some couple of exception, right? So it is z demo 7, I think. Let's go and use the same program. Okay, demo 7 exception. Okay, so here we are having the division example, right? So maybe we can take the custom exception. Anything is fine. Anything is fine. Any example is fine. Just you should understand the concept. That's the important thing. So maybe this is safe. We can take and try to understand. So here you can see that we are having the try, right? And we are having the catch block. What it's doing, let me show you once again. Just run this one. Whenever we are means whenever we are trying to divide, it's going to catch, right? You can see that it's going to catch. So some exception occurred and it caught nicely, right? There is no problem. So I'll put the breakpoint over here and show you once again the flow of the program, how this program is working. We are using this program since last 3 or 4 classes, right? So you will be feeling comfortable. So see, this divide is having the parameter cxi0 divide, right? F5, and here as soon as it will give the exception, because of this parameter, it's going to catch it up. It will not throw you dump, right? So and here it's successfully uh, propagated from this place to this place, successfully propagated. How? Due to this raging keyword. If you would have not given, it will be not coming back the control over there, right? And it got the exception and it's writing all these things. But when the exception got occurred, what I want to do, I want to clean up my stuff, right? I want to clean up my stuff. So what I will do that, here you can see that, let's go and maybe here itself, what you can do, put one more try block and the catch up, and then we are having the, you know, cleanup block. Okay, and let us see now how the control is going to have. Okay, so I'm doing something wrong over here. For try, cleanup, and one more end try should be there, right? So whenever cleanup will be written, it should be again like inside the try and cleanup and the end try, but this should be here. Okay, this should be here. So pretty printer. So now you can see that try, cleanup, and end try. And another wrapper one you are having try and then catch and end try. So this looks good. Check the syntax now. There is no problem. Activate this one and activate this one. Right now, let us see how it's going to work. Put the breakpoint over here. Hard coded breakpoint. I'm just going to give it. Activate. Put a session breakpoint. Now press F8. 10 divided by 0. And we are going now inside. Say division. Now it will give you the dump, right? As soon as it has given the dump, you can see that the control is coming to the cleanup block, right? Cleanup. And here, whatever the code you are going to write, it is going to get execute. And again, after that, the catch statement is getting triggered, right? And it's going to give you the exception message. So this is the technical stuff, right? How the try, cleanup, and try you are supposed to write. I'm just going to show. Let's suppose if you are not having this wrapper, try and catch, then what will happen? Check the syntax. You can see that it's telling, okay, now here it will not give you any error. Check the syntax, it's fine. But let us see how it is going to behave at runtime. Basically, what I'm trying to show you, will you be able to use the cleanup block without this try, catch, and enter? Let us go and see if we can use. Press F8 and 10 divided by 0. Press F8, right? F5, F5, and here it will, exception will occur, and you can see that it's not able to, that try, cleanup, and that is not working. So try. So what did you understand from here? What did you understand? You understand from here that if you are using try, cleanup, and end try, you must have to use the try and catch block. Then only it will be able to work. Now, how to use this cleanup? We have created several object. Go underscore math is one object. Just free up it. So generally, whatever the final activity you want to do, that we do inside the, you know, try inside the cleanup block. Okay, so free go underscore math. And if you are having some BDC stuff, you are doing the programming for BDC stuff using the object oriented app, you can write inside the cleanup the BDC close group, right? BDC open, BDC insert, and BDC close we are having. So everything put inside the try and, you know, try, catch, and then try. And the clean, under the cleanup section, you have to push the BDC close group, right? So once you start doing that programming, you understand technically what it is going to do. The last thing, what we do in the BDC, in the session method, we use the BDC close group. So if you are supposed to put that last things inside this BDC close group. So if something exception comes, it will go through this, right? Check this one and activate this one. Okay. So this is the benefit of using the cleanup. Run this, 10 divided by again 0, and here if you come, now it will work fine, right? Cleanup, and it's going to free up the memory. This memory it has allocated, you can see that it has allocated the memory, and it will now free up. And now it has become, now your memory is available for further use. So let's suppose if your program is big program, right? Either way, whenever you know, whenever you come out from the session, system takes care of removing the memory and everything. But let's suppose if you have the so many codes written, and after this again you are processing large number of logic, large number of statement, again you are creating hundreds of thousands of objects over there. So if you don't clear it after the exception, right, then it will not be possible for the system to have the memory available. So in that cases, wherever the exception is going to occur, make sure that if your program is large, use the free statement and keep on creating the object which has been used. Okay, so that's the basic purpose of this cleanup. Okay, Raj is asking what different things we can write in free objects. You can use the free generally we use for clearing the object. Okay, free is used to clear the object. Okay, fine. Now another concept we are having called resumable exception. Very good. Means this is super concept. So let me show you what actually this resumable exception is. So generally what we get, we are having the try, and we are having the catch, and we are having this end try. Now what happens that whenever whenever you are you know let's suppose the division example. Okay, so here we are having the data and lv underscore some value equals to x1 divided by x2, x1 divided by x2. Okay, so inside this try you are going to do, and let's suppose some exception comes because of x2 equals to 0. So it will go into the catch block, and it will you know uh, give your means if you are writing some custom message, right, if you are writing some custom message, it will just write that custom message after catching the exception, right, or the standard message also you can write, depends on you, right. Now what you want to do that after writing this message, whatever inside this try, after this statement you have written some more statement, right. Let's suppose you have written some another executable statement over here, right, like mm, x1, let's suppose here x2 must x2 should be, or here maybe some executable statement. I'm not able to get any proper example, so some executable statement you have written. Okay, executable statement you have written over here, and that you want to execute it after writing this after catching the exception. So generally what will happen, once your exception will come, it will come out from the program. So here if you can see that here, just activate this and run this one. 10 divided by 0, press F8. So this is the try and cleanup block we are having, so it's working fine. And after this catch block is getting executed, and after catching this one, what actually I want to do, whatever we have written after this statement, that also I want to get executed. This is my requirement. Okay, so generally, so let's prepare the scenario first. Okay, so for this, for resumable exception, this is not means uh, if you see here inside this divide, this dynamic exception is coming automatically, right? CX 0 divide is coming automatically. Okay. Here we are not raising. This system takes care of this exception. So I will show you one example. Come here and custom exception. This is what yesterday we have prepared, right? Just give me 1 minute. I'm just going to, let's go and check it. Good question. So let's go and check that part. So this is the exception, and here what I'm going to do that, let's comment this try and catch and this end try. Okay, check the syntax, activate this one, activate, and put the breakpoint. Press F8 10, and here I'm going to give 3, so it will not give me any exception. So come over here and F5, and this will not give the exception this time because this is 3 and this is 10. So some value will come 3, that's fine, and now it's not going. Okay, you can see that it's not going. So generally this cleanup block we use with the exception. So whenever exception will come, then only this cleanup block is going to get triggered. Okay, so good, we got it cleared. Let me put this into the PPT. So that's why, generally we use this cleanup along with the try and catch block just to clear the memory. So if no exception occurred, then it will not go inside the cleanup block, right? One more scenario, let's go and test it quickly. We are going to enable this. We are going to enable this. And let us see how it's going to behave now. Activate this one, activate, and we will not raise any exception at this moment. Run this, clear the object, come over here, press F5. Again, this time it will not run any exception, right? So you can see that only it will go in case of exception. Is it clear, Venkat? Yes, cleanup makes sense whenever any dump or some. See, if there is no dump or nothing like that, you can manually also clear the memory, right? Yeah. This problem generally occurs, a cleanup kind of stuff, whenever you have the unexpected behavior, and in that case, it makes sense. Okay, fine. So we got this one, and now just go back and we'll see this custom exception one. So our requirement is here. You can see that try. This is the yesterday's program one. Okay, this is the yesterday's program one which we have written. So here, let's remove this one. Just simply we are passing this value over here. Some error is here. Let's correct that. If, else, and if, this is fine. If and if, this also looks good. Method and method, this is fine. What's the error then? Before the control structure, if must be by and if. I think there is some extra if. Okay, this is one more. I'll just put one more if over here. And pretty painter, check the syntax now, and it looks good. So let me revise you what I have done yesterday. How we have raised the how I have raised the custom exception. So our requirement was, whenever the material in Mara is not found, we are supposed to raise the exception. So there is one exception, this one, right? This also we have created one exception called JCX underscore project one. If you double click over here, it will take us to the exception, and under this text we have written material not present, right? And if you see here, this is the long text and this is the short text, right? And this was the OTR based, right? So there is no option for the message class because this was the OTR based, and this was the message class based. So two exception we have created yesterday. If you double click over here, and here if you go inside the text, this is a message text you are having. Inside the message text you have the several other stuff, v1, v2, v3, v4. This we can map with, right? So this we have seen already, right? Mat not present, for this we have prepared. See, so but the thing is, uh if you pass the parameter, then only it will bind. If you don't pass, the whatever you are having the default message, it will just display you, right? So let's go back. And how we are raising? We are raising range exception type exporting, right? And here we are having the regex. So different style or different way we are just raising the exception, correct? So activate this one, and once again I will show you the flow of the program, how it's working, and then I will show you how we can achieve the resumable exception. That means when the exception is going to come, right? When the exception is going to come, and once it catched over there, and if again if you want to execute the next statement, how you can do so, means how you can resume the execution, right? Here exception came, and again you want to resume from here. How to do that? So that part we are going to see. Okay, so why I have chosen this one, because whenever you have to have the resumable exception, you have to raise in a different way. You have to use the syntax differently for the resumable exception. Okay, so first I will show you with the simple raising time that it will not go back and it will resume. And after that, with the new syntax, here the syntax will change something like raise resumable exception. Here you have to put resumable, right? And one more syntax that is known as catch before unwind. So here you can see that I'm simply writing the catch statement. Here I'm simply writing the catch statement, right? So instead of catch, you have to write catch before unwind. Okay. So let me show you first this one. Activate this and run this. Give some material over here, material 003. It's telling that material is not present, material is not present, right? So what I want to do, let's put the breakpoint somewhere. Here I'm going to put, okay, and press F8. Come here, press F8. And see, it's going into the material validation, right? If material is not initial, it will check size of RC not equal to 0, because that material is not the valid material, that is not present in Mara. So it will raise this exception. It has raised this exception, and see here, it has raised this exception. And after raising this exception, the catch block has occurred. Now we are writing this one. And what is our requirement is, after this, it should not come out from this particular statement. I want it to go back and execute the next statement, whatever it is written. So after this raise, I want the system to go and execute this statement also. Here you can see that we have another executable statement, another executable statement, right? Another executable statement. We are having the different executable statement, correct? And here, this is the message class based exception we are having. So maybe what I will do that this particular stuff we will comment, and maybe this also we can, uh, or let it be like this. technically understand. Functionally, this is not good example, but technically, at least let us try to understand how we can resume the exception. Okay. So I will be putting the breakpoint over here, right? And this time, what I want to do that here you have to write resumable exception instead of simply writing the raise exception. You have to write the resumable exception, right? Control D and type resumable exception. Comment this one. So you can see the difference. I'm writing resumable exception. And for this, when I'm trying to, catch this, I will write this catch before unwind. That's it. This is the only two changes you will have to do in order to make any exception as a resumable exception. Now you will see how it's going to work. Activate this and just put the breakpoint over here and press F8. So we are going for the material validation. Here it will not found, and if it is not found, it's going to raise the resumable exception, right? So you can see that it raised the resumable exception, and it is coming outside, and it is giving you material is not present, your own message material is not present. Okay, let's see. It should come over here, right? ZCX project 1, correct? And here catch before unwind, this is also fine. After this, I expected to go over here on this statement. So let us see how it's working. Material 003, press F8, and directly we have come to this method validation and not equal to 0, raise resumable exception, that is fine. And here you can see that at the catch block it's coming over here, and now it should come here, right? Write a statement. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. And after this, I'm expecting this to go to again this statement. Okay, so F5, but what it's happening after this catch, it is going over here and try, and it is coming by, it's not resuming, right? Okay. Why it's not resuming? Actually, we have to write one more keyword to tell to the system to resume. Okay, we have to write. So where you can write that? Here you can write that resume. You have to tell to the system, please resume. So generally, directly we don't write this resume statement. We first check whether this exception which has been raised is resumable or not resumable. Okay. So whenever you write this resumable exception in this, if you have observed, there is one method is having the parameter, actually parameters. This is the previous, and here got get long text, get text. Okay, here it's not there, not a problem. Directly what we can do that, if you know that catch before unwind you are using, that means certainly that is the resumable exception and you would like to resume that. So activate this and activate this, and now just press F8, give this value, run this, and here it will give you the exception because that material is not found, and it will come here, come and resume. So once it will occur the resume, it will go back over there what it's telling, An exception has occurred. It was not caught. Psi illegal handler was triggered but not caught anywhere. Okay. Let us see what's the problem. So when we are resuming, it should go back actually. So just checking what is the issue. Okay. So one more way I can check it. Go here because it is there outside of the method, right? You can see that I'm giving here. Here we are doing the validation. Here we are writing the catch inside the block. So it looks like something inside the method parameter, it is expecting. So first what I will do that I will put inside this method validation directly this try and catch block. Okay. So let's do one thing. This is zero mat validation. This is fine. Catch before unwind. This is okay. It looks fine. Let me comment this over here, and the same statement what we are having over here, I will put it inside this. Okay. Uncomment this one and put inside the try and entry. Okay. So here we are trying raise resumable exception type, and here I want to catch before wind and then resume. And generally, like how you can check if the exception is resumable or not. Here you are having one parameter basically. Okay. So if geo underscore catch, and if you see this one, here you will be having a one method called is resumable. This you can compare with abap underscore true. If that is so, whenever you raise like this, that the catching reference is having the method called is resumable, and if it is resumable, then you can give like this. So this is also you can put the check if you want, but generally catch before wind we use for the purpose of a resumable exception. Okay. A more robustness if you want to find, you can. If you want to achieve, then this check also you can apply. Okay. So I'll put the big point here, press F8 once again and run this one, and it will raise the exception. As soon as it has raised the exception, the control has come over here before this would have executed catch before unwind, right? And now let us see how what's the value. Catch resumable X is coming, so now it's going to resume, and you can see that it's going over here, right? LV underscore matter, the next statement it is executing, next statement, right? And again it's coming over here, raise exception type, and for this it will go, and again this is for the same. So catch before unwind, and after that there is no executable statement, so it will simply go back, right? So this is what the meaning of a resumable exception, right? So we have seen, but if you don't use this one, if you don't use this exception, resumable exception, this, right, it will not go to this statement and this statement after the exception, right? So catch before unwind, Simple. So generally catch before unwind will come along with what? Resumable exception. Let's see what's the error. Resume can only be used in catch. You can see that resume can only be used in catch before unwind exception, right? So let's go and comment that part also. And once again, I will show you. Activate this, and we have the breakpoint. Press F8, run this one, run this, and size of RC is 4, right? It will give the normal exception this time. And if normal exception it will give, what will happen? It will go to this catch and it will write all these things, right? And but it will not go back once again to the next statement, these and this, all these things, right? Because this is a normal exception and it will come out, right? So hope you understood what is the resumable exception and what is the non-resumable exception. Only the thing is that here outside of the method, if you are trying to do, if the exception is resumable, here also it should work fine, right? But I think some in the method signature, something is not getting propagated, and that thing we have to mention. That thing we have to mention. So I will give one more try in front of you. If it is working, then fine. Otherwise, I will check it offline. Okay. So here, let's go and try one more time. Okay. Come here, and now I will remove from here this catch statement outside of the method. Inside the method, it's working fine, right? As expected. Everyone is clear till here, right? Till here, at least inside the method, it's working as a well. So if you are clear till here, just write capital Y in the chat box so that I will get confirmation. Okay, at least one point is clear. Thank you for your confirmation. So try and try, and here try is not required, right? I just am removing from inside the method and putting outside the method, right? Here also it should work, right? Here also it should work. So this piece of code there also I will write. Okay, copy this and Control V and uncomment this. Let's see. Some error is there. You already caught in the try and catch block. Yes, I will comment this one. Check this and activate this. And now put the breakpoint over here. Press F8 and give this. This material is not present, right? So it will go, and I'll put the breakpoint here also. Here also I will put, and press F5. It will come over here. Material is not present. It will erase the but it is a simple exception. It should be the resumable exception, right? I have to raise the exception of resumable, then only I can expect that it is going to resumed. So let's go back and I will correct this. Here, resumable exception. Now it's fine. Okay. Now it's fine. And now what I'm expecting, that once this exception raised, after that also this code should run. So give this one, press F8 and come over here. This is fine. F6 and directly it's coming over here. It should come to this catch, right? Catch before unwind, and it's coming directly over here. So even it's not going here, catch before unwind. If you observe, when I'm using the outside of the method, it's not going to that particular statement, right? Because I put the breakpoint, then only it has come. So this I need to check actually why it's not working as expected. And here is resumable. You can see here, if you press F6, this is finding that the system, what it is finding that this is not a resumable exception. But the one which we have raised it, what we have raised, JCX project one is the resumable exception one, correct? And have we mentioned, yeah, inside the raising we have mentioned this one. This I will check, I'm not sure why it's not working. Okay, I will check this one. There is one more catch. Yeah, that one more catch is there. That's fine. That should not disturb, right? Because that is, so let's suppose if you are going to, comment this one, and now it's fine, right? Now it's fine. It's the resumable exception we are doing. So when we are raising the resumable exception inside the method, there is no problem. It's working fine. But we may have to use outside the method also, as we are using. At that point of time, it should work fine, right? So that is my concern. F5, 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 it's coming here, not resumable exception. We are raising it, correct? Material not present. This is fine. And F7, F6. So here we have put the breakpoint. That's why it is stopping. It should automatically come over here as it is happening earlier. So write. This is okay. And write a statement. Then if it's not coming anything, right? It should be, it's telling that it's not resumable. Outside of the method, it's telling it's not resumable. So I think something I'm missing in the parameter, or some hack is there, which I'm not able to recollect. Okay, but generally this is the concept of what we have. Okay, so class this cx static check. It's working. Is it working? The one which you have written, Oscar? Oscar, the one which you have copied and pasted over here. Okay, from the SAP help page. Okay, let me check this one, what you have written. I'll copy this example and we will see. Thanks for giving the example. Let's have one quick example 8 and resumable exception. Okay, resumable exception. Click on this create button, and here we can give resumable exception. Executable program, click on the save button and save this. Okay, I'll paste that code which he had just put it. Check the syntax, and the last statement is missing. That's fine. Check this, and now it's fine. Let's try to understand this class method. What is this? This is the static method, right? Static method. Okay, I got it. So under the public section, when he is creating the method, raising resumable is written over there, right? You can see that raising resumable. This is how we have to use the syntax. Okay, and we are trying to catch this one. So here resumable exception they are raising, and display resume, that's fine, and catch before unwind cx underscore demo. and cx underscore demo definition inheriting from cx underscore static check, right? So this is how we have to define it. So let's go and do in that way, and there itself I will show you. Or this also, let's put the breakpoint and verify whether it's working correctly or not. It should work fine, because this is what I was missing, in the method parameter. So come here, and it's raising the exception, you can see that, and catch before unwind is now it's coming, and resume, and after resuming here the control should go right, and you can see that it's working perfectly, right, and resumed. So see, this is how, so nicely, this is a good example to learn, right? So go there, and here what we will have to do, that we have to put inside the method, whenever the method we are declaring, you know we have to tell to the system resumable exception. Raising resumable, what was the syntax? It was raise resumable exception inside the method. Resumable exception, let me copy this from the chat box, or you can simply press F1, and from there also we can get it. Okay, jetcx underscore project, we have to put it over here. Okay, and that's it, and now it looks good. So instead of simply giving raising, we have to give raising resumable, and inside resumable we have to give the exception which we are expecting can be, you know uh, propagate, right? So check the syntax now, and see, it's telling you, okay, double full stop I have written. Check the syntax, and now it looks good, and it should work fine now. Come here and just press F8, run this, press F8, come material validation right here, and it will give the exception, and this time you can see that automatically it is coming. Even if you have not put the breakpoint, then also it will come at a stop. Okay, write this, your own message. Now it will give you what? X. You can see that it's X is coming, and now it will come to resume, and it will go back once again, and here you can see now it's coming to the next statement. Okay, so, and this is the normal one, this is not the resumable one. Sorry. So this is how. So hope you got the concept, what it was, the problem. So thank you, Oscar, for sharing this nice example. It's very easy to understand, and quickly got it what I was missing. Okay. So this is what we have. Did you understand, guys, what was the problem? And now you understood the concept of resumable exception, how you can handle outside and how you can handle within the method itself, right? Okay. Okay, fine. Akash is asking, if exception was raised from a standard program with without resumable exception, can you still resume that? No, you cannot. It should be there, it should be raised in this way. It should be raised in raise resumable exception. No, raise. So if the exception is resumable, then we have to means raise like in this way, raise resumable exception. This is the important one. You can check the various combination, but this is, if you don't write the resumable exception, then I don't think so it will work. So three important, if outside of the method is there, we have to use this particular stuff, use this one, right? So maybe I will put this point over here in this PPT, which will be helpful. So one point is this one, which we have to take care. Another point, what you have to do, this you have to write. This is what you have to write it. And the another important point which you have to use, that is catch before wind. Okay, this one. And one more we are having, right? Which one? And this one. This one. Okay, so these are four important points which we should know for the resumable exception. Is it okay? I believe now you understood all these 4 points. One thing is that inside the method parameter, we have to write this one. This is the first point which we have to take care. Another second point is this one. We have to use the resumable exception. Third point, this is how you can catch. This is how we can catch. And the fourth and last point is that this resume should be there. Okay, resume should. Thanks for the confirmation. And now let's go and see that yeah, and now let's go and see the narrow casting and wide casting. This is very important concept. Okay, narrow casting and wide casting. What is this basically? Narrow casting, wide casting. So let's try to understand. Narrow casting and wide casting. All both these terms will come together. So if you see this narrow casting and wide casting, both is having one common term called casting, right? What's the meaning of casting? We know the meaning of casting, type casting, right? From integer to character, character to integer. In ABAP, this is possible, right? We can convert integer to character, character to integer. Type casting is possible. In object-oriented ABAP, the object can be also casted from one object to another object. Okay, let's suppose you have a ZCL underscore material class, and this material class is getting inherited by plant class. Okay, so this is your subclass. This is your subclass, and here it's inheriting from material. So what you can do, that you can create the object of this plant. You can create the object of this plant. So let's suppose you have the data geo underscore plant equals to what? Equals to new ZCL underscore plant. So this is how we create the object, right? Using the new syntax. So one object I have created over here, and this what actually I'm trying to do, that this particular object you can assign to the reference of this particular class. So here also you can create one reference or object, anything is fine, right? So whenever you are going to create the object of this material, you must have to have the reference, right? So you can create one object or reference. So reference, if you want to create simply, you can create like this: geo underscore material, type ref to zcl underscore material. Okay, so now now you can cast this geo underscore material equals to geo underscore plant. This is possible. Okay, you can see that geo underscore object of this plant I am assigning to the reference of this, or to the object of material. So if you just write it, create geo, create object geo underscore material, this is also fine. If you create the object or simply reference if you are having, right? So if you see over here, this plant is inheriting from material, right? This plant is inheriting from material. So ZCL underscore material is going to have more detail or less detail, which will be having more detail and which will be having the less detail. If you compare with this, class and this class, so plant that, if you think that plant is having the more detail, write P, or if you think material is having the more detail, write M. Okay, write your answer here in the chat box. What you think? Good. So plant is going to have the more detail and material is going to have the less detail. And what we are doing over here, more detail object we are assigning to the less detail object, right? Getting the point? What we are doing over here, we are assigning the more detailed object to the less detailed object, less detailed reference or object, anything is fine. Okay, less detailed object, reference or object. Okay, so what do you think? This is the narrow casting or wide casting? This perspective is narrower perspective, right? Less detail, because it is having the less detail, correct? And this is having the more detail. So what do you think? This will be the narrow casting or wide casting. Just write if you think N, and if you think it is a wide casting, write W. Okay, Eric is telling W, Akash is telling narrow, and Prabhakar narrow, Oscar, Venkat, right? No answer is right or wrong, just you have to be interactive. Okay, whatever you think. Eugene is telling wide casting. Thank you all for giving the answer, but those who has given the answer wide casting, can you tell me why do you think wide casting? See, narrow casting means you are going from a wider perspective to narrower perspective, right? The terminology, if you think over here, narrow casting means you are going towards narrow, you are casting towards narrow perspective, towards a small perspectives, towards less detailed perspective. ZCL material is having the less detail, plant is having more detail. Obviously sun is, in real time example also, if you see that son is going to have the more detail than the father detail, because it's going to inherit all the property from father along with his own properties, right? If you take the car example, right? So any car, if you take, car is generic example, right? Car means some generic attribute, generic behavior will be defined. But if you take some specific car, that specific car is going to have the more detailed information, right? So whenever you are going from more detailed perspective to the less detailed perspective, that concept is known as the narrow casting. So one thing you understood, narrow casting is only possible in case of inheritance. Okay, in case of inheritance. Now, if you are going to assign the object of ZCL underscore material to the ZCL underscore plant, but before asking this question, those who were writing, the wide casting, is it, are you convinced that this particular assignment is the narrow casting? Just write yes if you understood well. Like Lakshmi was telling wide casting, you know and other people, Ajidin was telling wide casting. Is it okay for you now? Okay, fine. So this should be fine now, right? This is the narrow casting, correct? Now we are talking other way around. Now, if you are going from narrower perspective to wider perspective, right? Then what it will be called? Type here in the chat box. If you are going narrower to wider perspective, it will be wide casting, right? So when let me do one thing. I'll copy the complete slides, and I will create one more slides over here, and I will put it. And now what we are doing, that we are this inheritance relationship is like this only, but the assignment, it is going from geo underscore plant, just opposite here. In narrow casting, this is the assignment. Okay, in this is for narrowing casting, this is for wide casting. We are assigning the object to the reference of, or to the object of plant. We are assigning the object of material to the reference or object of plant. So this is known as what? Wide casting. But one thing you should know, this wide casting is not possible until and unless you have the narrow casting. So this is the mandatory criteria to have the narrow casting. So first this statement should be written, then you have to write this statement. Now you will be telling why this and this, from here to here you are doing, and from here to here you are doing. What is the use of this? This concept is very powerful concept. Okay, I took 4 years, first 4 years to understand this particular concept. Searched several blogs, several YouTube, and gradually I understood this concept. And here I will give you this YouTube video helped me to understand 4 years back very well, and I was able to understand well this concept and real-time use case. You can see at 12 minutes onwards you can start watching, and you will find one WebDin Pro real-time use case over there, nicely explained. Okay, so I have put it here in the uh, PPT. This will be shared with you, and then you can just go, or simply you can search Sankara Rao wide casting. Okay, and you will get it over there. My video will be also there on the YouTube, but you, for the real time example, for real life example, you can watch out my video. I have 1 hour video I have prepared over there for the real life example. But real time SAP object, like WebDin Pro, this is a good example. Okay, so this is what you have. Let me now explain over here. Okay, let me explain now. What scenario it will occur? What scenario it will occur? So let's go to the system now. Okay, let's go to the system and create one example. So this concept is heavily used in the factory design pattern. This narrow casting and wide casting concept used heavily in the factory design pattern. So factory design pattern we are going to learn in little more detail, but because I have to explain this concept, so this is what one again real-time example apart from the WebDin Pro. However, the WebDin Pro, that concept which he has explained, this is more or less like this. But let me try to uh, show you what actually I'm trying to tell. So casting explanation with factory design pattern. So I will show you, I will give you a glimpse of factory design pattern, and then you will understand the power of this narrow casting and wide casting. So first quickly show you the concept here, how the concept is working. Understand it technically first, and then we will go into the real-time factory design pattern. Okay. So here, let's create one class CL underscore A or material, whatever. Let's keep it A. Okay. Definition, public section, protected section, and the private section. It's good to give all this section and end class. Into the public section, we are going to give, let's suppose some methods we have to define. So methods, method A, and I think let it be like this only, no export parameter and all I'm going to use. And one more class we are defining, class CL underscore B, inheriting from. Definition, inheriting from CL underscore. So this is how you inherit the class A into class B when you write the code locally. Okay, when you create the local class. And when you are inheriting, automatically this method will be inherited, right? You don't have to write once again method underscore A, not required. Okay, now let's create the implementation. So class CL underscore A implementation, you have the method what? Method underscore A and end method and end class. One thing here, we methods redefinition we have to write actually. Okay, redefinition statement we have to use, because we are going to redefine. Simply if we not write anything, it will give you the error. So redefinition we have to write, because this method is what we are inheriting. So redefinition keyword we have to write, then only we can redefine. Why I'm doing this? Because I can redefine. If you don't write this, by default it will be inherited, but I would like to implement this method, so I have to use this redefinition keyword. There what we are doing, we are having the button of redefinition, right? In AC24 we were clicking over there and it was allowing us. Here there is no button, right? So we have to give the keyword. And do you know, if I don't want this class to be inherited in class B, what I will do over here? Anyone? What this class should be? Class A underscore. I don't want this class A to be inherited in class B. What we have to do for this? Yeah, thank you, Venkat. Yes, this class should be final. So how you can make this class final? You can make class final like just if you put this final, then it will start giving error. It will tell that boss, this is the final class why you are inheriting. So we check the syntax over here, it will give the error. The final class cannot have any subclass. All right. So you'll have to remove, and that particular error will be now gone. So you got locally how we do. This is some another error, right? So it's telling that, of course, any class should have at least the public section, right? So if you check this one, class definition do not have a class V implementation. Yeah, that's fine. So now create the class CL underscore B implementation end class, and let's create the implementation of method underscore B and a method, and simple statement, write this is method A of class A. Some color I will give so it will look attractive. Copy this one and paste it over here. This is method B okay of class B. Pretty printer, check the syntax, and method B does not exist. Yeah, no method called B, right? Method A, and I will give one method B also, okay, in class B. So one extra method I'm going to give it over here. Method underscore B. So, sorry, in class B I have to be, in class A already method A is there. In class B, one extra method I have to give. So one method is inheriting from class A itself, method A, and one extra method just I'm giving so that I can show you properly this concept first. Okay, and method B implementation we have to do it now. So method B, this is method B of a class B. This is redefined method A in class B. In class B. So inside the class B, this is the redefined method. This is what I am trying to write. Color 4, color 5, and color 5. So same color I have given for class B. Okay. And for class 4, color 4 I have given. Now you have to write the start of selection. And first I will show you the narrow casting, because for wide casting you must have first perform the narrow casting. Okay, so narrow casting from assigning the object of subclass to the reference or object of superclass, right? So what you will be having over here, let's create the two object first. Okay, so data go underscore a equals to new cl underscore a, right? And a reference, either you create a reference or object, both is fine. G underscore b for the this is our superclass. Okay, cl underscore is superclass. So here I have created directly object. Reference would have been also fine. And here this is the subclass. So new cl underscore b. Now the narrow casting I am performing. Narrow casting. Very in interview also they will ask very frequently. If you are going for object oriented, as a role of object oriented consultant, this question is the frequently asked question. What is narrow casting? Because it's heavily used, right? So whichever is heavily used is going to be the important question in the interview. Very simple funda. And this is what you have, the narrow casting. You can see that geo underscore b I am assigning to the object of geo underscore a. It can be reference also, simply. That will be also narrow casting. And what will be happen then when you are assigning? So let's see now. Before narrow casting, before narrow casting, if geo underscore a, what's the method it is having? Method a. And after narrow casting, after narrow casting, just observe, you will find the magic and you will understand, okay, this is the difference. So now just guess what is going to be the output. Okay, just guess what is going to be the output. Activate this and put the breakpoint over here and run this and tell me the output. See, one object got created, one object another. Here I'm going to call the method A of class A. So you can see here class A, it has gone inside this class A, right? This is a method A of class A. It will be printing. Now I'm doing the narrowing cast, right? So narrow cast is done. Now again I'm going to call the G underscore A method A. Now you just see where it is going. And here you can see that it's going inside the class B method A. So what you are doing over here, what's the benefit you are getting? The benefit, technically the concept what you are getting, with the help of object of class A, you are able to access the method of class B, right? You can see that it has been redefined and here what you are able to access. So in the class B, you are able to access this one, right? So this is what you have, the benefit. This is a class A and this is the, now can you also able to access the method B of class B? Is it possible? Let's give a try. Call method go underscore A and what's the method you have? This is the method A you have, right? But I want to access the method B of class B. Is it possible? Let's give a try. So if you check the syntax here itself, it will tell you, boss, this method does not exist. But at runtime, we can check whether it's working or not. Okay. So in runtime, this is how dynamically you can access a component. Make it in capital. So if it will work, it will not give you any error. Otherwise, it will give you the error. Hence, it will go into dump basically. So at runtime, I'm accessing the method B. So if the method B, you will be able to access from the class A, there is no problem. Otherwise, it will go into dump. Come here, come here, come here, come here. So till here, fine. And here, what is your expectation? Will it go into dump or it will work? Just type here yes or no. Just guess. Guess. There is no right or wrong guess. Guess is guess. Okay. Okay. Someone is telling work. Someone is telling not work. Let us see what happens. And you can see that it's working, right? It's going over here. The control is going over here. So at runtime, it's working. So what you got the benefit over there, that you are able to access component of object B from the reference of A, right? So this is the beauty of narrow casting, right? So it didn't give you any dump, right? It's working fine. So how dynamically you can access a component, this is how you'll have to do it. Now the wide casting. So till here you understood this narrow casting, right? Just type capital Y if you got it. Okay, just type capital Y. Okay, fine, thank you. So now you can do the wide casting. So what is the wide casting? Come over here. Wide casting. So in the wide casting, GB geo underscore B equals to geo underscore A. Just opposite what we have done, the opposite of that we'll have to do. Okay. But if you check the syntax, let us see, it's giving the type geo underscore A cannot be converted to the type of geo underscore B. This is what it's telling. It's telling both is having the different type. Here we are assigning from bigger perspective to lower perspective. So here it was not giving any error message or something like that. Here it's telling you are doing from the lower perspective to bigger perspective, right? So here in this case, everything is not able to be compatible, or everything is not able to be allocated at compile time at least. System is not, sure that what is going to happen. Type is different, right? You can see that geo underscore A is of class A type, geo underscore B is of class B type, but here it was not giving us any error when we are going from narrower perspective to wider perspective, because system was sure that class B is inheriting from class A, right? So so certainly this class B is going to be, fit into class A. So this is what, because from wider to narrower perspective you are getting. So this is what logically we can think, right? This is what logically and technically we can think. So here it was not giving any error, but here it's telling no, it's not type compatible. You cannot do directly, geo A to geo B. Means this is what it's giving the error, right? So how you can avoid this error at this compile time? Because we know that it's an inheritance and it will work, right? At least that method we can use. Yes, Venkat has written the right answer. We have to remove this check at compile time, at design time. This is what we are writing the code, right? So at compile time, at design time, we have to ignore this check. So for that purpose, you have to put a question mark. You have to tell to the system, we don't know what is kind of this assignment. Question means what? We don't know what kind of assignment is this. So system will ignore the check because you don't know. System does not know. At runtime, it will make clear for the system. So this is going to have at the runtime. Check the syntax and now there is no error. So learn these two important points. How you can call a method dynamically and how we can ignore the check at design time. It is going to help you a lot. This particular. Okay. This and this. How to call a dynamic, how to call a component dynamically, and how to ignore the check at runtime. Okay, so activate this one, and now geo underscore B. So now tell me, from the geo underscore B, here you have the method A. So obviously this method A, which method A is going to get called? And here you are having g underscore B. Just think which method you are going to get called. And let us see in the debugger. Activate this one, and press F8. So first we are doing narrow casting, right? So when you are doing the narrow casting, what it's going to call the method of B basically, right? B, right? Method of B, and then method of B again it will call, right? Here you can see. And after doing here you are doing the narrowing cast, right? Here you are doing widening cast. This is known as widening cast. And if you see here, method A, class B only method, right? And here again B, class B only method. So this is how, so this concept is known as widening cast. So what's the benefit of widening cast over here? Widening cast benefit is that again you are able to access all the component of method, you know, uh, all the component of object B with the help of widening cast, right? G underscore B, G underscore B, like that. So basically this concept is known as widening cast. I will show you in a real time example in factory design pattern, or just to go through this particular uh, WebDin Pro stuff which I have just shared. You will get the real-time SAP object example, how beautifully wide casting is used over there. From 12 minutes onward, the total 25 minutes, you can start watching from beginning also. A small video, 25 minutes video is there. Just watch out, nicely explained with the real-time example, and I will give you the real-time example of factory design pattern. Okay, so maybe in the coming classes we are going to see, I wanted to see once again over here, or maybe tomorrow we will see that particular example. Okay, so Raj, do you have any question? Let me unmute everyone over here, and now you can go and ask the question if you have any question.
I have a small question here. Is really
Uh-huh.
this wide and narrow is not defeating the question of inheritance. So we inherit
Mm-hmm.
the plant, for example, it
Mm-hmm.
will already have we will have already from plant access to everything in material if it's public.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
what I learned from inherit.
Mm-hmm.
So what the narrow casting is gonna add the wide casting is gonna add to me.
Yeah, so see here the narrow casting, as we have seen that from the narrow casting object, we were able to access the object of, so from this geo underscore A, right? You can see that after doing the narrowing cast, from the
Yeah,
geo underscore A, we are able to access the method of B, right? We are able to
yeah.
access the method of B. So this flexibility actually going to achieve the wider form of polymorphism. Okay, so I will show you in tomorrow example itself, then you will
Yeah.
realize the power of this. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
directly
Thank you.
inheriting the class, yeah, directly inheriting the class, basically here you will not find much benefit, but when we are going to inherit the interface, no, then it makes a lot of sense and it becomes very useful. That's why I'm just requesting everyone go through that video, and tomorrow it will become crystal clear your concept, and you will be more confident in wide casting, and when I will be giving the example it will make more sense tomorrow. Okay, yeah, Prabhakar, please.
Can,
You, yeah, Prabhakar, I have unmuted you, Prabhakar. Yeah,
hello.
yeah, Prabhakar.
Yeah,
Yes.
can you comment that narrowing cast and show what error is showing?
Okay, very good, very good. Thank you for, yeah, this is also, so this will give you an exception at runtime. Okay, if you check the syntax, there is no error at this point of time, but at runtime it will give a exception called cx psi move cast, something like that. Press F8 and see it. So see here, I'm not doing the narrowing cast now, and if you go here itself, I think it will give you the error, you know. So you can see that here
Uh,
you will not be able to access the class without without narrowing class. Let me comment this, and this also it will give you error. Press F8, and here no narrowing cast, and directly I'm going to do the wide casting. So here itself you will give error. What is this CXI move cast error? So generally
okay.
whenever we do the casting, wide casting, what we do, we put into the try and catch block. Okay, so we are supposed to do like this. Try and then catch, control V into data, geo underscore catch, and you can write also this geo underscore catch get text and end try. So you must have to give that. Okay, you must have to give that. Now this time again it will give you the error because I am not doing the narrowing cast, but exception we are catching. You can see that exception got cast, and it will tell that this CLA is
Okay.
not compatible for the purpose of assignment with target this, right? This is the
Mhm.
error. It's a so for that purpose, actually, in the slides also I have prepared this question in form of, so see some question I have prepared for this class. Tomorrow also we'll repeat this because uh, some of some person are left. So let me read out this question. Tomorrow will be a revision. What is the different type of casting in OOPS in terms of inheritance, superclass or subclass? So there are two types. One is the narrowing cast, just we have seen, and another is the widening cast. What is narrowing cast? Assigning the instance of subclass to the reference or object of superclass. Okay.
Uh, Pankaj, Raj Pankaj.
Yeah. Yes, Raj. Yeah.
Pankaj, are we not going to achieve all these things through the inheritance?
Yeah. This is the inheritance. Through the inheritance only we are going to achieve this. Wide casting and narrowing casting is the concept of inheritance. I'm not getting your
I
question
guess.
properly. Means what actually this is, you can see that the here this
So
narrowing
what I'm
cast.
saying is through
Uh-huh.
the inheritance, I mean, we will not be achieve anything what we are going to achieve through the wide casting or the narrow casting.
No, you can
Are we
achieve
go?
many things through inheritance, but if you want to make more dynamic, right? Like if you
Okay.
want to,
Mhm.
if you want to access through the object of A, if you want to access the method of A and B through the object of A, how will you do? Tell me. Through the inheritance, you will do simply from the object of A. If you want to access the method A of object B, method B of object B, is it possible directly through inheritance? Not possible, right?
Correct.
So narrowing cast will play a role over here. If you assign the object of this to the reference or object of A, through the object of this you can access the method A and method B. So don't you think that it become more dynamic, right?
Okay.
So once you will go through some complex requirement, you will realize, or tomorrow itself you will come to know that how, so maybe tomorrow itself I will cover the factory design pattern. Okay, so however I have noted it down for the later session, but let me discuss the factory design pattern tomorrow, and I will show you that how it's going to so beneficial.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone?
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you.
Pankaj, how long these videos will be available to us?
I think it should be lifetime for you. Just check with once, with in that chat box, you can just check it. It should be lifetime, I believe. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
fine. Okay, so thank you very much for attending this session, and I hope you got the concept of casting. And tomorrow we'll see the factory design pattern, and there uh, how we are going to achieve the real-time use case scenario for this wide casting and narrow casting.
Yeah, thanks, Pankaj. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Have a nice day, nice night, good night, uh, and happy Republic Day to everyone over here. Thank you.